young girl, scarcely 16. Thanks to my parents, lots of places I've seen, but never a place that I love as well as my Virgil home 'neath the maiden tea hill. My Virgil home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my Virgil home 'neath the maiden tea hill. The harbor's so pretty in the morning sunshine, as the seabirds and robins their sweet notes entwine. The fishing goes shiny in the water so still, here in my home 'neath the maiden tea hill. When I had trouble or if I was sad, I always found comfort from good friends I had. They knew that I loved them and I always will. And my Virgil home 'neath the maiden tea hill. My Virgil home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my Virgil home 'neath the maiden tea hill. With our fishery failing, I may have to roam. Dear God, how I'd hate to leave my dear home, but each night in memory, sure I'll see it still. My Virgil home 'neath the maiden tea hill. My Virgil home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my Virgil home 'neath the maiden tea hill.
Good evening. Welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include Virgil Lions held their annual Speak Out, Virgil RCMP have a newly renovated office, Virgil has a literacy team in place, Constable McDougall will be here with the court report, these stories plus community events, the VBS playbill, and Off the Rack. All that coming up in just a moment.
Even though many types of blindness can be prevented, thousands of people lose their sight every year. The reason? They ignore the danger signs. Signs like blurred vision, eye pain, and excessive tearing. And then, before they know it, vision loss has set in. Don't be on a collision course with blindness. Learn the danger signs and protect your sight. A message brought to you by Lions Clubs International.
The Virgil Lions Club hosted their annual Speak Out during the regular Lions meeting held on Wednesday evening. 7 students from grades 9 through 12 took part in this year's Speak Out. Each student presented a speech that was not less than 4 minutes, but not longer than 6 minutes in length. Upon completion of their speech, contestants had to answer a question from each of the 2 questioners.
For a long time, women did not have equality in any sense. They were put second to men when it came to jobs, and in some countries, they were not even considered people. They were something to be owned by men. Then, finally, a change was made. In Canada, World War I in 1914 was the catalyst for this change.
The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Canada's federal police force, has been policing Newfoundland and Labrador for the past 46 years. However, members and employees of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police are now dealing with uncertainty about their future in our province because they may be replaced by another force, the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary.
Everyone has dreams. I have dreams, you have dreams, we all have dreams. But they aren't real. Or are they? Dreams are what we believe in, what we strive for, and in some cases, all that we live for.
The environment is everything that we see, feel, or hear. It is what we live in. Therefore, it is very important to protect our environment. Some present major environmental problems are global warming, depletion of the ozone layer, destruction of a rainforest, and acid rain.
Take, for example, the war-torn country of Bosnia. The moment they step outside, their lives are put in danger. Bombs exploding, guns firing, children screaming are all too common and are all sounds neither you or me may never experience.
It is recess time at primary school and a teacher on duty has to break up two fights. Watch the CBC News and hear an account of students in St. John's attacking another student on their lunch break. Switch to the west coast of the province and hear about the no-contact policy introduced at C.C. Lockwood Elementary School.
Babies were delivered at the Birdsville Cottage Hospital until 1981 to 1983, when changes were once again put into place. Women who were in the late stages of their pregnancy were sent a corn book where they had to stay until the birth of their child. This stay would sometimes take 3 to 4 weeks.
After consultation with the other two judges, head judge Ken Fleming announced the winners.
I must congratulate the students on a fine effort there this evening, and I must say the call was very, very close. In the point spread of total points, the numbers were spread only about 15 points between top and bottom. But all in all, we all pondered over it for a very long time, and as the third runner-up, we have contestant number 3.
Why don't we just wait and get the pictures took afterwards?
And again, in second place, we have contestant number 5. The first runner-up, we have contestant number 1. Again, you all spoke very, very well, and keep up the good work.
Melissa will be competing in the Regional Speak Out on March 22nd in Fort Basque. Best of luck, Melissa. Reporting the news to us could be worth money to you. BBS will be offering $10 a month to the person who provides us with the best news tip for that month, and $100 for the best news tip of the year. News tips can be about any occurrence in or around the community that we are not already aware of. Please contact us if you are aware of items such as fires, accidents, or other happenings that may be considered newsworthy. If we use your news tip on the air, you will be eligible to win the news tip of the month. Each month's winner will then qualify for the news tip of the year. If we receive more than one call for a particular news item, only the first caller will be recognized for providing us with that news tip. So remember, if you know of an item that is potentially newsworthy, call us at 886-2935. Notices that are displayed on Channel 10 will not be considered as news tips. Stay tuned. There's more of This Week in Review coming up in just a moment.
They're not hip or modern, fancy or fashionable. They no longer fit your prescription or your style. But for one person living in a developing country, these used eyeglasses will put the world in focus, maybe for the very first time. Don't throw away someone's chance for a clearer tomorrow. Donate your used eyeglasses.
The interior of the Burgeo RCMP detachment has undergone renovations in recent weeks. Visitors to the local RCMP detachment now have to enter the establishment at the other end of the building. The new entrance is wheelchair accessible. Corporal Matheson gave us a tour of the newly renovated police station.
Dave, welcome to our office and to have a look at our new renovations. Right now, we're in Judy's new office. As you can see, she's got much more space throughout this area. And she's now got a front counter and a window to meet people when they come in. We're at the complete other end of the building now from where we used to be. So for the information of all people watching, if anybody wants to come and see us, we're down at the other end of the building. So this is the front counter area and Judy's area. And out in this area, we've knocked down what used to be bedroom walls, and we've made one big open office area for Paul and Mike. Makes it much more open atmosphere, and as you can see, much brighter. Behind you there is the kitchen area, which is spruced up a little bit. We're not quite finished all of what we're planning to do. Hopefully we'll get a little table for the kitchen area. It's much brighter, much cleaner looking space. My office stays the same, but again with new paint and carpet and lines, it's much brighter than it was. We've got some blue paint here to match the blue on our police cars. Close to it. Out in this area now we have our new our area where we're going to call our fitness area. It's not set up yet, but we've got some equipment here, and we're still working on this.
Okay, so this used to be the main entrance.
This used to be the main entrance and the old office, I guess we'll call it. We've knocked down some walls here to make it more open. We've got some equipment there from Coast Guard down at the back, and we just picked up this piece of equipment last week from the RCMP in Deer Lake. We're waiting for some more equipment to come out, hopefully sometime in March. So this area we're hoping to get a fair bit of use of, and we'll see how it goes. We may end up making it accessible to more people if it works out okay. Down in this area now, this is officially our interview room. It's been a fairly busy court day this week, and we've been in here a lot, but this is our interview room. So basically what we've done, we've torn down a few walls and added some carpet and new paint and spruced her up a bit.
We would like to thank Corporal Matheson for taking the time to give us a tour of the newly renovated RCMP facility. A literacy team has been set up in our area. This team is designed to promote community literacy. Some ideas the team hopes to implement include a homework haven and adult resource center. I spoke with members of the literacy team to find out more about their team and the programs they hope to develop in this area.
I'm here at St. John Central High School, and I'm speaking with three of the people involved in the community literacy team, Sherry Billard, Jody Han, and Stan Domney. First of all, Sherry, can you give us an overview of the community literacy team and what you'll be doing?
The community literacy team was set up by school district number 4. It has 4 people on the team, myself, Sherry Billard, Jody Ann, and Stan Domney, and a fellow from Ramya named Lloyd Whitehorn, who is stationed in Ramya. There are 6 literacy teams set up throughout the school district. We will be working within the community to promote literacy and to provide services to the community to promote literacy.
Okay, Jody, what services do you hope to provide to the town?
Well, Dave, the first service would definitely be the Homework Haven, which is beginning this evening and hopefully will take place every Sunday evening from 6:30 to 9:30 in the high school library for levels 1s, 2s, and 3s, as well as junior high students, grades 7 to 9. We have it set up so that students can come in at their convenience to get their homework done. The intention in mind is that it can provide a quiet atmosphere with that extra bit of help should they need it. There will be school tutors available. I will be available. Sherry will be available. The 2 computer rooms will be open, and Stan will be in this room working with the Play-Doh system should the students want to come in and do a bit of tutorial there. Junior Strickland will be available in the upstairs computer lab if the students would like to come in and write up a few pages of their reports. The way we have it working with the computers right now is that they can book a computer on a half-hour basis. They can book it with me or Sherry or Stan down in room 3 Mondays to Fridays, whatever time is convenient for them. But the idea is that they will only get a half an hour per evening so that we can get as many students using the computers as possible. Another service we hope to provide for the community is a parent resource center, which will be set up so that parents can come in and they can use the computers here in the FFAW-CAW Education Center, which is, by the way, where we're stationed out of, room 3 in the high school. They can come in, they can use the Play-Doh system, they can use the computers upstairs. If they'd like, they can register for a course and do it at their own convenience so that they can receive a high school credit, and we will be available to help them achieve that. We also would like to provide just a computer awareness type of program just for basic things like cover letters and resumes, almost like a WordPerfect course. And, just the general computers, like how to use one of those automatic banking machines, the Interact machines, places where computers are used every day, but unless you've been exposed to them, you may be somewhat intimidated to try to learn how to use them out in the public. We'd like to get something like that underway. We'd also just like to set up a place where parents can come and talk about some common problems that they may be having with their children, problems they may be having with learning some things that they would like to learn, and hopefully find a way to get through those problems. We'll also be working with the preschool committee, and Sherry will probably elaborate on that a little bit later because she will be working with them closest of all out of our group. Basically, we will be providing any service to the community that is literacy-based as long as the community comes to see us. We can provide a service if we have the proper resources and if we have the interest. If some of the services we intend to provide do not have the interest generated that we would like, then it's going to make our job a little more difficult, but it would certainly make it easier if the community would come forward and tell us some things that they would like to see happening in the community, some programs they would like to see put in place. And this can come from parents, general public, teachers, students. We'll listen to anyone who has a request that we can hopefully fulfill with regards to community literacy.
Okay, so how has the response been thus far?
This is our first week working in the community. We started last week and we had meetings in Stephenville to just give us an overview of our job. So this week has been kind of a hectic week trying to put these programs in place. We did visit the classrooms this morning. The 3 of us visited classrooms this morning to talk about Homework Haven. Somehow I didn't get the kind of response with that I wanted, which is too bad because I think it's a fantastic idea. I think it's a great way for students to get their homework done and to get it done right, to get the extra help that they need. However, we won't know that until we've gone through a Sunday night to see what the response is. And we haven't exactly gone out into the community yet to talk about parent resource centers and things like that. A lot of that is going to depend on the communication that the community has with us with regards to what they want from us as a team.
Okay. Stan, do each of you have a specific duty?
Yes, Dave, we do. Sherry Beller is concerned with primary levels. Lloyd Woydorn, who is stationed off to Ramya, will be conducting activities and so forth off to Ramya. Me, I'll be concerned with the activities into the lab here at St. John Central High. And while Jody is the team leader, and she'll be coordinating the project for at least 6 months.
Okay, that was my next question. Actually, Jody, how long will the community literacy team be available to the community?
The program was set up for 25 weeks, and we're already going into our third week. The cutoff date is technically the 8th of August, but I feel pretty certain that if we get a large success with this program, it's quite possible more funding will be available. May not necessarily be this team as such, but I feel certain that somehow some of the projects will continue beyond the 8th of August if there is a lot of interest generated and a general success of the program itself.
Okay, Sherry, you're stationed at A.J. Matthews School. What are some of the things that you'll be doing there?
Right now I'm working with Mrs. Benwell, the principal at the school, to set up a family resource center. This family resource center will be in the preschool room. They're in the primary section of the school. It will be targeted towards children that will be going into the preschool in September of '97, and hopefully what we will be doing will be bringing in the children and their parents to just spend some time together. The children can play together, and the parents can just spend some time together to discuss issues or just sit and chat, basically. And we also may be setting up a Nobody's Perfect program.
Stan, what will you be doing here at the computer labs at the high school?
Basically, Dave, my objective here at the lab is to help students be able to log on to those systems which are running the Play-Doh learning system. This system is for all age groups, whether it be primary students on up to IBE. Students who log on to that system, they can do various things from language exercises to math exercises and so on. So I would like to take this time and say to the public that it's a worthwhile opportunity to get on this system and get some practice in math skills, language, or whatever.
Jody, what is your role with the literacy team?
Dave, as team leader, I will be working closely with the two principals of both schools in Burgeo to ensure that programs and projects are set up and carried out to be beneficial for students in both schools. I will also be closely linked with the community in that they will be able to come and talk to me to voice their concerns to me so that I can pass those concerns on to the team. As a team, we can coordinate projects to help them with any problems that are literacy related. As we said earlier, they can come in and obtain credits as necessary to put towards a high school diploma. They can come in to use the computers. I will be their link for being able to do that. I'm kind of the in-touch person. As well, I'll be in touch with Stephenville, the project coordinators in Stephenville, for any new ideas that they may be able to introduce. And I will be working closely with the projects such as Homework Haven. I'll be working with Sherry at the preschool committee. And we're hoping to also have a homework classroom set up after schools for an hour from Mondays to Thursdays for students to come in and do their homework. I'm also available for tutorials. I already have 2 students who I will be tutoring for an hour or 2 a week. Basically, I'm just at the disposal of anyone in the community who might need me or the team to help them with any literacy problems they may need addressed.
Okay, so it sounds like you guys have a busy 6 months coming up.
We hope to.
Okay, well, we'd like to thank you for speaking with us, and when you get a lot of these programs up and running, I'm sure we'll be around to get some shots of them.
Thanks, Dave.
Judge Luther held court here in Burgeo on Wednesday. We have Constable McDougall now with the court report.
Provincial court was again held in Burgeo on February 26. A total of 25 people appeared to face charges. A 16-year-old male from Burgeo pled guilty to 1 count of fraud, 1 count of break and enter, and 2 breaches of probation. He was placed on probation for 2 years and fined a total of $100 and was given 80 hours of community service. 29-year-old male from Burgeo was charged with possession of narcotics. He pled guilty and was fined $500. A 13-year-old male from Burgeo pled guilty to a count of break and enter and a count of breaching his probation order. He was placed on probation for a further 2 years, was ordered to pay $55 restitution, was given 80 hours of community service, and a $50 fine. A 16-year-old male from Burgeo pled guilty to a count of break and enter and a further count of breaching his probation order. He was placed on probation for 2 years, was given 80 hours of community service, was ordered to pay $55 in compensation, was sentenced to 4 months in open custody, and sentenced to 5 days in closed custody in relation to the breach of probation. A 13-year-old male from Burgeo pled guilty to 2 counts of break and enter and theft and 3 breaches of his probation order. He was given 2 years of probation, 80 hours of community service, ordered to pay $55 compensation, and fined a total of $150. A 15-year-old male from Burgeo pled guilty to 4 counts of break, enter, and theft, 1 count of break, enter, and intent. He was given probation for 2 years, 80 hours of community service, was ordered to pay $180 compensation, and fined a total of $200. A 14-year-old female from Ramia pled guilty to a count of assault, 1 count of uttering threats, and 1 count of breach of probation. She was sentenced to 4 months in open custody and placed on probation for 2 years. A 13-year-old male from Burgeo pled guilty to 2 counts of break and enter. He was placed on probation for 2 years, given 50 hours of community service, was ordered to pay $55 compensation, and given a $50 fine. An 18-year-old male from Burgeo pled guilty to 2 counts of break, enter, and theft, 2 counts of break, enter with intent, and 4 breaches of his probation order. He was placed on probation for a further 3 years. He was given 80 hours of community service, was ordered to pay $180 compensation, and fined a total of $350. A 35-year-old male from Ramia pled guilty to 2 counts of possession of narcotics and was fined a total of $690. A 17-year-old male from Burgeo pled guilty to 2 counts of break, enter, and theft, 2 counts of break, enter with intent, and 4 breaches of probation. He was placed on probation for 2 years, ordered to do 80 hours of community service, ordered to pay $180 compensation, and fined a total of $350. A 14-year-old male from Burgeo pled guilty to 2 counts of assault and 1 count of breaching his undertaking. He was placed on probation for 2 years, given 50 hours of community service, and fined a total of $100. A 16-year-old male from Burgeo pled guilty to 1 count of break and enter. He was given probation for 2 years, ordered to perform 50 hours of community service, and pay $55 in compensation. A 13-year-old male pled guilty to 1 charge of damage to property, pled not guilty to 2 counts of assault. That trial is set for April 30th at 11:30 in the morning, and he will be sentenced on the damage to property charge on the same date. A 14-year-old male, formerly of Burgeo, had a lawyer appear on his behalf and entered guilty pleas to a charge of damage to property and breach of probation. That matter was set over to April the 7th for sentencing in Stephenville. A 17-year-old male from Burgeo pled guilty to a breach of probation, and he was sentenced to 5 days in jail. An 18-year-old male of Burgeo pled guilty to 1 count of causing disturbance, 3 counts of breach of probation order, 2 counts of possession of narcotics, and 1 count of breach of an undertaking. In total, that male was sentenced to 3.5 months in jail. A 19-year-old male from Burgeo pled guilty to 1 count of supplying liquor to a person under the age of 19 under the Liquor Control Act, and 1 count of supplying liquor to a person under the age of 16 under the Child Welfare Act. In relation to the charge under the Liquor Control Act, he was sentenced to 2 weeks in jail, and in relation to the charge under the Child Welfare Act, he was sentenced to 6 weeks in jail, for a total of 8 weeks in jail in total. He was placed on probation for 3 years and was fined $300. A 42-year-old male from Burgeo pled not guilty to an assault, and that was set over to April 30th for a trial, 11:30 in the morning here in Burgeo. A 16-year-old male of Burgeo pled guilty to 2 counts of break and enter. He's placed on probation for 2 years, ordered to perform 50 hours of community service, ordered to pay $55 compensation, and was fined $50. A 51-year-old male from Ramia pled not guilty to 1 charge of assault. That too was set over to the 30th of April at 11:30 here in Burgeo for a trial. A 16-year-old male from Burgeo pled guilty to a count of break-enter with intent. He's placed on probation for 2 years, ordered to perform 50 hours community service and pay $55 compensation. An 18-year-old male from Ramia pled guilty to mischief, as well as a 16-year-old male from Ramia for the same charge, pled guilty. Both were placed on probation for 2 years, were given 40 hours of community service each, and ordered to pay $469.62 in damages to the victim. A 59-year-old male from Burgeo pled guilty to resisting arrest, and he was fined a total of $285 and placed on probation for 6 months. Provincial court will be held again in Burgeo on April 30th at 10:30 in the morning.
Stay tuned for Off the Rack, community events, and the BBS Playbill. All that after this.
Just look at her. What a difference. Till a few months ago, we thought kidney dialysis was her only chance. But then a kidney donor was found. Someone took the time to sign a donor card and tell their family their wishes. Please, discuss organ donation with your family and sign a donor card today. You'll give someone like Michelle a second chance.
During March Kidney Month, when a Kidney Foundation volunteer knocks on your door, please make your donation a generous one.
Off the Rack. This week as we scanned our tape racks, we came across a video of Miss Hand's grade 2 class as they enjoyed a summer day in the middle of winter. Here's a look back to March 1st, 1992.
The students did a story in their reader concerning a hot summer's day in the middle of winter, and they decided it sounded like fun.
Welcome to the community events segment of tonight's broadcast. I'm AJ Marks. The grad class TV bingo held on Wednesday was won by Eva Barter. Congratulations, Eva. The Help Committee will be holding another TV bingo in aid of the grad class on Wednesday, March the 5th at 7 p.m. Cards are $1 each, or 6 for $5, and can be purchased from any grad class member or in stores around town. Please support the graduating class at St. John Central High and play TV bingo. Weather permitting, the school bus will be out of town on Monday and Tuesday to take students to Marble Mountain. In an effort to upgrade the cable system here at BBS, Channel 20, the USA Network, has been moved from Channel 20 and can now be viewed on Channel 6. Please adjust your television set accordingly. The RCMP had a shoplifting seminar scheduled for March 17th here in Burgeo. This seminar has since been canceled due to a lack of interest among businesses in the area. The Burgeo Lions Club is presently selling tickets on 2 Easter hampers. Each hamper contains 25 items, including bottled moose and caribou, homemade jams, pickles, beets, fresh scallops, tin mussels, partridge, rabbit, and much more. Tickets are $1 each or 3 for $2 and are available from any Lions member. Tickets will be drawn on April 2nd. If your group or organization has an upcoming event planned that you would like included in our lineup, please contact the VBS office during regular business hours. Events must be submitted no later than Wednesday of each week. This concludes the community events segment of tonight's program. See you next week.
VBS Playbill. Join us on Monday at 7 p.m. for Religious Revelations. This month's service comes to us from St. John the Evangelist Church. Tune in on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for a rebroadcast of Pansy's Garden. Try your luck on Wednesday by playing Grad Class TV Bingo. Bingo will be followed by the Burgeo Lions annual Speak Out. Join us on Thursday at 7 p.m. for a rebroadcast of Up the Shack, Nuki Fever with Derek Warren and Kirby Young. And Pansy, Marie, and Melissa will be here with crafts, stories, and lots of fun, Saturday morning, 11 a.m. on Pansy's Garden. And I'll be here again next week with This Week in Review. Next week's program will be followed by the Bandwagon Jam Session. Please stay tuned now for Up the Shack, Nuki Fever with Derek Warren and Kirby Young. For This Week in Review, I'm Dave Cooper. Good night.